Okay, so yesterday the Minnesota DNR did a press release announcing that they're changing their fish record systems, and basically it's almost like a major reset of the program. So what's happening is they're adding a bunch of catch and release species to that program. They're also adding a historical element, so fish entered before, I believe it's 1980, when certified weights weren't required. Those are going in a historical category, and then anything in that historical category entered before 1980, they're resetting those. So we're going to have all new records for Minnesota fishing. So real quickly, I'll just go over the press release here. Starting March 1st, which is today, anglers can earn catch and release records for 18 species beyond the four current species that are recognized. So right now we have pike, we have flathead catfish, we have muskie, and we have lake sturgeon. Those are the four that are in the catch and release categories, and now they're adding 18 more species to that. So that's pretty cool. The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources is making in response to the increasing popularity of catch and release fishing and to raise the profile of native rough fish, which is also really cool too. So they're adding some rough fish into those categories too. And I think they're requalifying or reclassifying rough fish, and they're calling them native rough fish now. So angler stories and photos of the huge fish caught from Minnesota lakes, rivers, and streams generate major excitement, said Mandy Erickson, fisheries program consultant. We also hope the buzz around some of these records brings more attention to native rough fish, which besides being fun to catch are important to aquatic ecosystems. And that I agree with. It's great to see these native fish getting the respect they deserve, and not just having people throw them up on the bank or kill them or whatever. So it's very nice to see that. Records established prior to requiring weight to be documented on a certified scale will continue to be recognized as historical records, like I mentioned previously. After March 1st, the Minnesota DNR will recognize three categories of record fish: historical weight records, catch and release, documented by photos, and certified weight, documented by keeping a fish and keeping it on a state certified scale. One of the things about that certified weight that I haven't been able to confirm, and I've heard stories either way, but it sounds like you pretty much have to kill that fish. Unless there's a certified scale somewhere on the body of water you're fishing, as far as I know, you cannot transport live fish unless you get some sort of permit or something. So unfortunately, to set these new records, some of these fish are probably going to have to die. So thankfully, they do have the minimum weight requirement set fairly high, so it's not where you're not going to have all these fish just kind of setting a new bar and all these fish dying in vain. So, and I'll go over that quickly. I'll show you the certified or the minimum weight requirement on those. Anglers can also apply for certified weight record for yellow bass, which is also a new one added to the category because the species has dramatically increased in both presence and popularity, particularly in south central Minnesota. So they will be adding yellow bass to the record system as well. Species added to the catch and release category are blue sucker, bigmouth buffalo, bowfin, brook trout, brown trout, channel catfish, freshwater drum, lake trout, largemouth bass, longnose gar, rainbow trout, sauger, short-nosed gar, shovel-nosed sturgeon, smallmouth bass, smallmouth buffalo, tiger muskie, and walleye. So that's 18 more fish. There's going to be a lot of records being set this year. I have a feeling they're going to be busy doing these press releases, which is pretty exciting and fun. Certified weight records will be available for, now this is the ones they're resetting due to the historical category now. So new ones will be black crappie, bluegill, brown bullhead, channel catfish, common carp, flathead catfish, lake trout, northern pike, smallmouth bass, walleye, and yellow perch. So we're going to get all new records for those, and right now they're wide open. Currently there are no records for those other than what they moved to the historical category. Before making these changes, we discussed possible approaches with angling organizations and tribal interests and sought input via fishing-related Facebook pages and DNR email lists. Overall, we received very positive feedback. The record fish program has been managed by the state's Fishery Resource Agency in various forms for nearly 100 years. More information, including minimum fish length and weight requirements for new submissions, is available on the web page. So we're going to go to that now, and I'll show you some of these minimums, which is kind of interesting. Some seem like they might be a little easier to set than others, so we're just going to go to that here. Okay, for the certified weight, these are the new fish and their minimum requirements in order to submit an application. So if you catch fish, which is a new record, make sure that you go to this page, make sure it meets the minimum requirements, and you download the PDF, fill it out. I believe there's some things you have to fill out for maybe witnesses or certified weight scale you use or whatnot. Just make sure you read all the rules. But here's all the fish and the new resets. So black crappie, 2.5 pounds. Bluegill, 1.5 pounds. Brown bullhead, 3 pounds. Channel catfish, 30 pounds. Common carp, 30 pounds. Flathead catfish, 58 pounds. Lake trout, 13 pounds. Northern pike, 32 pounds. Smallmouth bass, 7 pounds. Walleye, 14 pounds. Yellow bass, 1 pound. Yellow perch, 1 pound. So looking through that list, I've caught most of these fish, and looking through them, trying to figure out, which ones might be easy, which ones might be really hard. I think they did a pretty good job, coming up with these minimum weights and going through the ones, looking at which ones are probably going to get beat fairly easy. I don't know. Maybe the lake trout. I think the lake trout could probably be beat pretty easy at 13 pounds. There's some lakes up in the northeastern part of the state that regularly put out, teens to high teens to 20 pounders. So I think that one's probably going to be pretty easy to beat. A smallmouth bass at 7 pounds. We know there's been some 7 pounders caught on Mille Lacs recently. That one might be one that's going to get beat. Walleye at 14 pounds. That one's going to be an interesting one because I think in order to catch that walleye, it's going to be, in early spring as we're moving into here. And I guess I'm thinking the Rainy River is going to make a run at that one this spring. Now, the problem is you have this spring season's catch and release only, so you won't be able to keep that walleye that beats this record. So that's going to be an interesting one to see where that one comes from. Good chance that comes out of the, I'm guessing the Mississippi system, because they have a pretty liberal as far as keeping fish down there throughout the entire season. So there's a lot of opportunity to catch a 14 pounder in that area, Pool 4 area or whatever. Some of these other ones I know personally, flathead catfish. I've seen some, high 50s caught every year, so that one's probably going to get beat too. But the channel catch is probably going to be pretty tough at 30 pounds, and that's probably going to be, coming out of the Red River system up in that area. So very interesting to see these records reset, and I'll be following along for sure to see how they get beat and how many times. It'll be really interesting, and it's really cool to see the DNR is doing this, and exciting time to be a Minnesota fisherman. All right, so next let's go to the catch and release minimums. So like I said previously, we already have 4 of those on the books right now with the flathead catfish, the muskie, the lake sturgeon, and the northern pike. And so in order to beat those, you actually have to beat the one that's already set. In fact, I have the sturgeon record, which is right here, and this one was 78 inches. So what you have to actually beat it by a 1/4 inch. So if you want to beat this record, you'll have to catch, at least a 78 and a 1/4 to beat this record. And it's the same with the other ones too. You got to beat them by a 1/4 inch in order to set that new one. So, but for the new 18 species they're adding, let's take a look at those minimum lengths. So basically, if you hit this length or above, go ahead and submit that, because I'm guessing people are going to be submitting these throughout the year. And since it's a catch and release format, you don't have to worry about killing that fish. You can, measure the length, document it very carefully, have a witness, and download the PDF and enter it. And, maybe someone entered one below it or one above it, but there's no harm in it as long as you meet this minimum qualification. So if you catch any of these, just go ahead and submit it, and you might have a new record. So bigmouth buffalo, 32 inches, blue sucker, 28 inches, bowfin, 31 inches, brook trout, 18 inches, brown trout, 24 inches, channel catfish, 38 inches, freshwater drum, 31 inches, lake trout, 40 inches, largemouth bass, 22 inches, longnose gar 46 inches, rainbow trout 23 inches, sauger 22 inches, short-nosed gar 30 inches, shovel-nosed sturgeon 32 inches, smallmouth bass 22 inches, smallmouth buffalo 31 inches, tiger muskie 44 inches, and walleye 32 inches. So just glancing over these, I do see some that I think are definitely going to get set right away this year, and we might have multiple multiple entries. So by the end of the year, it'll be interesting to see where those end up as. I do see they do have a kind of a typo. They got the smallmouth bass with an N, so they'll probably have to fix that. But I assume what you know, if you download the PDF, you know, submit the application, they'll probably send you. I haven't really showed this much, but this is what I got sent when I got my record, and it's just a cool plaque, basically documenting the date and the size. And yeah, I imagine they'll probably be doing the same thing for everyone that sets a record for catch and release. So just a nice little memento for doing that. So yeah, that's the new record program from the Minnesota DNR. I hope everyone gets out and catches some fish and is able to submit some of these records. I know I'll be trying. The problem is, you know, by May or June, I won't be doing much fishing for myself. I'll be doing my guide trips. So maybe some of my guests in the boat this year will be catching a record, and that'll be fun to try for sure. And it's always fun to have new records and see them being set. So just adds another level of excitement to a fun day out in the boat. So thanks again to the Minnesota DNR, and hope everyone found a little bit of useful education from this video. Thanks for watching.